Good evening, councillors. Very warm welcome to the Public Services Committee on Monday, the 22nd of January. The order of the meeting is we do have public questions this evening. So I don't know if there are nobody in the chamber, but is there anybody?
Only Councillor Gibson.
And he's not intending to ask a question?
I don't think so.
At the moment. Okay, thank you. Then we'll move on to item 2. Apologies for absence. I just have the one which is, I think, Councillor DeBell, who's unwell, so we send him our best wishes. He's been taking
We also have Councillor Hughes and Councillor Gibson. Although Councillor Gibson is on Zoom, unfortunately that doesn't count as attendance for the meeting. So we have both.
And Councillor Hughes. So can I ask members to note those, please? Thank you. Can I ask if any members have got any declarations of interest, any new ones particularly? I don't think so, sir.
Just I'm a member of the MSDC District Plan Committee, but I don't think that's relevant this season.
No. Okay, thank you. Substantive business of the evening is to consider the draft budget book for 2024-25. I see members have got a copy of their budget book, so thank you for Town Clerk for issuing that. Public Services Committee has no direct cost centre responsibilities, being a committee whose primary objectives are representational. However, the committee does need to formally affirm that it has no budgetary needs for the coming year. Members are asked to note that the detailed papers submitted and duly recommended are appropriate to the Finance and General Purposes Committee, which follows this committee meeting. Therefore, I propose that we recommend to Finance and General Purposes Committee that the Public Services Committee has no additional needs to those allowed for in the draft budget book as circulated in relation to 2024-25. May I have a second, please? Thank you, Councillor Reid. Are there any comments or questions, please, from members? No? If not, then can I ask all those to approve that motion, please? Okay, thank you. Thank you, councillors. There being no further business, I then close this meeting at 7:03 p.m. and the next meeting of the Public Service Committee will be on Thursday, 7th of March 2024.
Thank you.
Could you ask the time before you start?
Okay, the time for the start of this meeting is 7:04. As neither chair nor vice chair in attendance tonight, we need to appoint a chair for this meeting. As town mayor, I'm happy to do so. Would somebody second this, please? All in favour? Apologies for absence tonight are Councillor Belzy as a personal commitment and Councillor Hughes is at work. Do we have any others?
No, that's it for this committee. I think everyone's
Are we happy
here.
to accept those apologies? No. And any declarations of interest? No. Number 3, to consider the draft budget book for 24-25. Members are asked to have a copy of the draft budget book papers with them. The Amenities and Tourism Committee is responsible for 3 cost centres: 300 East Court, 600 Economic Development and Tourism Services, 700 Cemetery Services, and 999 Civic Pride. The capital scheme proposals fall within the remit of this committee. Also, members will need to give consideration to proposals and formally affirm these as satisfactory and recommended as appropriate to the Finance and General Purpose Committee. I propose that we recommend to the Finance and General Purpose Committee that the budgetary need for cost centres 300, 600, 700 and 999, along with the capital scheme as laid out in the draft budget book 24-25, are adequate for the needs of the committee for the forthcoming year without alteration. May I have a second, please? Thank you. Any comments, discussion on this? In that case, can I have a show of hands in favour, please?
That's carried.
Thank you. And I will close this meeting at 7:05 and remind members that the next meeting is Thursday, the 14th of March.
Could you just say the name of the committee at start when you started? Because anybody watching the recording back might not know exactly where we are.
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening, everybody. This is the Environment and Sustainable Travel Committee. The meeting is starting at 7:06. Item number 1 is apologies for absence. We have an apology from Councillor John Darcy for a personal commitment. Can I ask everybody to approve that?
Thank you.
Item number 2 is to receive members' declarations of interest. Does anybody have anything to mention? Item number 3 is to consider the draft budget book for 2024-2025. Members are asked to have a copy of the draft revenue budget papers for 2024-25 with them. The Environmental and Sustainable Travel Committee is responsible for the line relating to sustainability and enhancement in cost centre 600 of the Economic Development and Tourism Services section. Please could ask the committee to turn to page 15. The budget is there for the projects to be considered and furthered by this committee next year. Are we content that the budget is adequate for the current expressed needs? I propose that the committee recommend to Finance and General Purposes that we are content with the allocation in the budget for 2024-25 relating to this committee. May I have a second?
Oh, God. I'm on the committee.
No, on the committee. Councillor Pond, thank you very much. Does anybody have anything to speak about with regards to the budget? No? So can I ask for all those in favour of that recommendation?
That's carried.
Thank you very much. The date of the next meeting is Thursday, the 29th of February at 7 o'clock, and I close this meeting at 7:08.
This is the Finance and General Purposes Committee meeting. This time, I declare the meeting open at 7:08. Right, item 1, public participation. I believe there's no public to speak, none in the room, and there's none on Zoom today. So I'll move on to the apologies for absence. We have Councillor Gibson, he's at another council meeting commitment, and Councillor John Belsey has a personal commitment this evening. I propose that we accept
Councillor
those.
Gibson is present at the moment and he is waving at you.
Ah, I can't see him waving at you.
No, I know you can't, so he's waving at us. Did you wish to speak, Councillor Gibson? No, but he is present, but unfortunately he's not legally present because they.
And I do know he has to do, he might disappear off at any moment.
He may also disappear at any point, but for the purpose of the minutes, it will show that he was on the Zoom.
Thank you. Can we accept the absence of Councillor John Belsey, please?
That's it.
Thank you. Item 3 on the agenda are declarations of interests. Are there any new declarations from the committee? Thank you. Right, to the bulk of the meeting. Item 4 on the agenda to consider the draft budget book for 2024-2025 year. Members were asked to bring along their copy of the draft revenue budget papers for 2024-25. The considerations that members will need to undertake at the meeting will ultimately culminate in a formal recommendation to council. In summary, members are asked to A, consider and approve the recommendation from the other committees. We note that the other committees have all met and recommended their budget lines as set out in the draft budget book for 24-25. Will the committee please accept these recommendations, which I propose? May I have a second? Thank you, Councillor Mrs. Belsey. Any comments? If I move to accept those from recommendation from the committee,
You're voting to accept the recommendations of the committees which have just met.
I've already-
That you've all just voted for.
lovely.
So Chairman's asking you to vote, please.
Only if you're on the committee.
All of you.
FGP.
Oh, I'm sorry, it is confusing at this time because it is meeting after meeting.
The F&GP committee.
So can I have a show of hands for the F&GP committee to accept those?
That's.
Thank you. Right. And now we need to approve the budget for cost centres under our own control, namely the Democratic Representation Cost Centre 100, Corporate Management Cost Centre 200.
Back in place. They're on the fourth committee meeting already.
That's right, yeah.
Perhaps.
Community support, community support, cost centre 400, including the grants to community organisations. Central administration and support, cost centre 1,100, and the charities, cost centre 1,000. I propose that these be accepted as laid down in the draft budget book 2024-25. Please may I have a second? Thank you, Councillor Mrs. Belsey. Would anyone wish to say anything from the committee on that? Right, I'll move to a vote. All those in favour? Thank you. Right. My next duty is to formally recommend the overall town council budget for the 2024-2025 financial year to the council. It is the council that will then resolve the precept. I propose, 1, that the revenue estimates for 2024-25 as set out in the draft budget booklet as previously circulated to all members be approved by council on the 29th of January to become the town council's budget for the 2024-2025 financial year. 2, that the town council's capital programme for 2024-2025 as set down in the draft budget booklet. 3, that the town council's estimate payments of £1,601,433, an estimated income of £364,355 in the 2024-2025 financial year be approved, resulting in a net cost to the town council of £1,237,078. And 4, that council on the 29th of January 2024 be requested to approve an actual precept for the 2024-2025 financial year, which the committee recommends should be set at £1,237,078, representing an annual council tax increase of 10.9% at £103.44 per Band D property, based on the known tax base of 11,959.5. I would like to propose all of those 4 items together. Please may I have a second? Thank you, Councillor Mrs. Belsey. Would anyone like to speak? Thank you. Right, I've moved to a vote then, please, from the FGP committee to approve.
That is carried.
Thank you. Right, that brings us a conclusion to tonight's meeting. The next full committee meeting will be held at F&GP will be held at 7 p.m. on Thursday, the 21st of March, 2024. I close this meeting at 7:14.